Okay, so there's a tale of the treasure is under the bridge. Basically, they were in Kharkov in Poland. There's a synagogue called the Synagogue of Isaac, and the tale is that this Jew Isaac used to live in Kharkov, and he dreamt at night that there was a huge treasure under the bridge in Prague. So he wakes up in the morning and he's traveling to Prague, and he's digging under the bridge and looking for a treasure. And there was a police officer there, and he's asking, "What are you doing? What are you digging?" He says, "Well, I dreamt that there's a treasure under this bridge, so I'm digging." And the policeman is laughing. He says, "Well, I saw in my dream that there's a big treasure under the oven in the house of a certain Jew called Isaac in the city of Krakow," which is basically that man, right? So he hears this, he's like, seriously? He runs back home and he's starting to dig under his oven. And guess what? He found a huge treasure right there, full of gold and diamonds and anything. And with all that money that he found, it says that he built this synagogue called the Synagogue of Isaac. So, what can we understand from the story? What lessons can we learn? Like
we don't have to run away, we can look.
Exactly. Like sometimes you don't even know that the treasure is right here. You're looking elsewhere. And where we think it's far away, and you travel and you're going somewhere, and then you realize that like the treasure is right here. And also sometimes even after you realize that the treasure is right here, it doesn't come easy. Like you have to dig and actually believe that it's right there till you find it. Like, no, sometimes you give up, you're like, you know what, I'm not finding it. I'll just, again, go back elsewhere. So you also need like that consistency or the motivation to look, to look where it is. So we learned last week about the idea that every Jew has a treasure. We all have inside of us a piece that we received from Moshe Rabbeinu in our soul that what is that treasure is the fact that we're able to reach this da'at and connect to Hashem. We're able to connect fully with the knowledge of Hashem to the point that we can connect from Hashem. Like we have it deep inside of us. So in theory, it sounds amazing that we all have this treasure inside of us. But the reality is that we look around us, and a lot of Jews are not connected to God. They're not connected to holiness. And they feel very far away from that. Like they feel far away from Torah, from mitzvot, from God. And we try to teach them, we try to tell them, and they're cold and they're indifferent around it. Like they don't even connect to it. Like it doesn't click with them. Somehow we don't even reach that treasure that they all have inside. So today we're going to see why is this spark not apparent by people, and where is this treasure is exactly, and what is there, and how we can reach it mainly. Like we want to reach that piece inside of us. So, so to understand, first of all, so we're going to start by understanding how come every Jew has this spark and still is not successful at reaching it. We all have this like treasure inside of us, and we're not successful at reaching it. We're going to take an example of a diamond. Okay, it's a very famous example. So first of all, a diamond we know is something very expensive, something very like whatever. It's something very special, and but it doesn't mean that to get to produce a diamond is so simple. Like it doesn't mean that the production of diamonds is easy. Like there's a big process till you get like the gorgeous sparkly diamonds, right? It's not like easily found, and it's not easily sparkly. And even after you find the diamond, it's not ready, and it doesn't look very ready, or it doesn't look like a diamond really, like it's not shining. And like it takes a long time till you produce a proper diamond, Yeah. Actually, my diamond ring, I'm not wearing it, but comes from her father. Anyways, so so generally speaking, if you look at diamond, there's two stages. First, you get the diamond, you need to remove all the dirt, okay, because you digged it in the ground, remove all the dirt. You take out everything that's disturbing, everything that's making it look dirty, take out all the dirt. Second, we need to polish it. Okay, the polishing is the next stage. So after it's clean from all the dirt, you still like then you have to literally like polish it in order for it to shine. Like it doesn't shine by itself, but you have to kind of polish and make it shine. So the same thing it is with us Jews. We're all a diamond. Okay, where each one of us is a diamond. We're actually called Am Sgula, okay, like we're a chosen people. And it comes from the concept of the fact that we are like diamonds, okay? And anyways, even though we all have diamonds, what happens is that we all are diamonds and we all have a diamond deep inside of us, okay? We are a diamond, but it's not revealed. We're not seeing us like we're not seeing Jews shining godliness or shining, we don't see it. Okay, and it could be that even though we are diamonds, we're not even connecting to holiness somehow. Like, so we need two things that need to happen to the Jew, just like the diamond. We need to first of all clean it up, so that's that's like when we're gonna basically deal with the flesh of the person. Okay, we need to take like our body. We need to take away everything that's disturbed, all the dirt that's disturbing the body. Okay, we're gonna explain it in a minute. Because basically the body is covering up the soul. So we need to clean up the body. We'll explain soon how. And then after we cleaned up all the dirt, we need to make it shine. Okay, so how we're going to do that? We're going to basically have to make the soul shine out. First, we remove all the body disturbance, and then we make the soul, the depth of it, shine out. Okay, so it sounds very nice theoretically, like you comparing it to the diamond. But so we're going to now see both of those steps in a deeper way and understand what it means for us. Like, how do we actually do that? Okay, so we're first going to talk about what we do with our body, and then we're going to talk about the revealing of this treasure that we have inside of us. So in order to understand the fact that there's a huge gap between the holiness of the soul of a Jew, like our soul is so holy and so pure at its source. The soul is amazing, but the fact that we're not really acting holy, like there's a huge gap between who we are and how we act. Like we really are holiness, but we are not acting like that. It's because this very holy soul descended inside a very physical body. That's why, right? And the body is completely hiding the soul. The body takes over. The body is covering up the soul, and the body, the fact that we have a body, it's pulling us to deal with all these physical things in this world, like to deal with all this physicality of the world, survival, like all the materialistic things. And that's the problem. And as much as the soul that we all possess is pushing us to connect to Hashem, at the same time, we have a body that's telling us you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to sleep, you have to survive, you have to have money, you have to have honor, you have to enjoy different things in the world, like, you have to have pleasure. Like all these things are the body pulling us in a different directions, but they're really opposite directions. Sometimes you're like, I can like two things simultaneously, but you can't like two opposites simultaneously. You can't connect the two things simultaneously. So let's explain how to deal with this problem. Like we need to get rid of the body, but we're not really getting rid of the body. Hashem wants our soul to be in a body. And even more so, we need to take care of our body. Very, very important. We can't like starve ourselves and the Maggid of Mezrich, which is the second, like after the Baal Shem Tov, the one before the author of the Tanya, he said that a small hole in the body is a big hole in the soul. So we can't ignore the body. The body has to be full, and then we can take care of the soul. So what does it mean that we have to take care of the body? So the problem is that, of course, we have to eat, of course, we have to sleep, of course, we have to take care of our body. But the problem starts when we're indulging in this stuff, when we're too much. Our whole head is there. Our whole head is telling us, 1 second, I have food, but I need better food. How can I get even tastier food? How can I get even more money? Like I have money, I have enough money to live, but I want even more money. How can I have more enjoyments? How can I go even further in the world? How can I go see more places? How can I enjoy more and more, until we become literally animalistic. It's all about the physical enjoyments. Okay, and to the point that we get to a place where it's like the whole world is around me, the whole world is made to give me. It's very selfish, it's all about me, versus it's all about God, but it's all about me. So naturally, when a person is completely indulging and completely into all these physical things, he cannot adapt from that place, he can't connect to holiness. The indulgence in the physical things is opposite of indulging in godliness, right? It's either all about God or all about me. If I'm in the center, there's no room for God. So the solution is to not dwell, to not like indulge in all these enjoyments and the pleasures of the body. Okay, it's literally do what the body needs, whatever the body needs, give it to him. Okay, but don't indulge in all these physical things. And if you're already there, like if it already happened that we are into such a physical world, we need to break. We need to break it. So the example given in the Zohar, okay, in the Kabbalah, is wood. If you want to burn wood, if you take a very big piece of wood and you put it in the fire, it might not burn. So the solution is to break the wood into a lot of small pieces, and then it's going to catch fire much better. So the same idea is with us. We say that our the fire is the soul, and the body is the wood. And if the fire is not catching the body, we need to break the body. We need to break it. We actually spoke about it many chapters ago. I don't know if anyone you recalls it, but anyway. So the idea is that, you know, the soul is not lighting up in our body. So we need to break the body. We need to say to the body, hello, enough, like stop indulging. How do you do that? How do we break the body? So we have three ways. One can be from Hashem. He can bring such a big hit to the person. He can put the person into such crazy trouble that he's like, why is this happening to me? I want to connect to God, right? That could happen. Sometimes Hashem does that for that specific reason. Sometimes it can be a friend, a person that can break us. He's going to tell us, look what you're doing, and it actually breaks the person. Like sometimes another person can do it, and sometimes we can do it to ourselves. If we look deep inside of ourselves, cheshbon nefesh, it's like self. How did you translate cheshbon nefesh?
Self-reflection.
Self-reflection. Okay, that's an idea. I think I had another thing back then. Anyway, it's like when we look deep inside yourself and literally go deep and take away all this ego, like break your ego basically. But it's a lot of self-work. Okay, all these ways are basically breaking this physicality that we're dwelling inside, and then we're able to open up the door for godliness. Okay, so that's the first step, to clean out this body that's disturbing the soul from shining. So we're going to look at this in the Tanya now, and we're going to see how he's going to basically say, it's going to be a continuation to what we learned last week, that every Jew has the power to know Hashem and to have Hashem inside of it. But how come that, you know, it's not easy for everybody? And how come, you know, the issue is that the soul came into a physical body, and that's why this soul is not shining. This knowledge of Hashem is not revealed. And for that, we need to invest, and we need to put so much effort. And he's going to say double and redouble efforts, like lots of efforts to deal with our physical body, to clean it out, to not indulge in it. And to also, another way of saying not indulging is deprioritizing our body. Like it's not the priority is God, but deprioritizing our body, breaking our body. And he's going to even bring the example from the Zohar about this, like the pieces of wood that we're breaking up the wood. So open up to where I told you earlier in the paper, only since the soul, and I'm going to open up here. Okay. Okay. Only since the soul has closed himself in the body, it needs a great and mighty exertion, doubled and redoubled, in order to feel and to be attached to God. Okay, so it's exertion. It's like really real work, doubled and redoubled. First is the exertion of the flesh. That's the physical body. Okay, that's the first step. To throw off bodily shackles, to pound the body, to weaken its corporeality and gain its submission so that it shall not obscure the light of the soul, thus making it possible for one to understand and feel godliness. As has been mentioned above in the name of the Zohar, that a body into which the light of the soul does not penetrate should be crushed. This being accomplished by means of penitential reflection from the depth of the heart, as is explained there. Okay, it actually it includes hihot tshuva. It's like the idea of cheshbon nefesh. We spoke about it in length. I don't know which chapter it was, but to literally like go dig inside of ourselves, and like really figure out deep inside of ourselves and regret what you did, do a whole tshuva process, and then start off better. Whatever, it's a deep process which we're not explaining deeply now, but we're just saying that there's this process of first cleaning out the body, taking away all the body, realizing that the body is obscuring the light, the soul from lighting up. There's a story to show you how a person was breaking his body in order to have space for God. There was a student that wanted to be accepted into a proper yeshiva. The yeshiva of, it was like the elite yeshiva of the 5th Chabad Rebbe, like he opened the yeshiva and he wanted to go there, but he was very into materialistic and he had also a very big ego, this boy, this boy that wanted to be accepted. And anyway, so he was advised by one of the teachers, which was, anyway, he was advised that what they decided to do with this boy in order before they accept him to this yeshiva is that they're going to give him very hard physical work. So they're going to put him in a matzah bakery where the oven is very hot and he's going to have to work long hours and he's going to sweat it out and whatever. And then at the same time, he's going to have to learn a lot of ma'amarim, like a lot of chassidut, a lot. And he's gonna and by heart, and then they're gonna test him, and all that. He's gonna have like a few weeks of very intense work, and not even enough sleep, whatever. And what happened is that after those few weeks of intense work, physical, like he had to really put it all out and put aside all his physical indulgence, right? There was no room for that. He comes to the Rosh Yeshiva, which was the 5th Chabad Rebbe, and he's sitting by the table with everybody, and then he says, and then this 5th Chabad Rebbe says to his son, he says, look, here you can see a human being, like here you can see a person, like, basically what he's saying is that in order to take out all these things of the body, you have to really put all this exhaustion, like all these efforts to deal with the body and put that aside, and then you can let space for the neshama, and then this boy can be accepted and can learn, properly without all this physical on the way. Okay, so second step, after we cleaned out our diamonds from all the outside disturbance, from all the mud that it was sitting in, we cleaned it out, but now we need to polish it. So after we dealt with all the things the body had, like the disturbance of the body that the soul had, now we need to put effort to reveal the actual soul. That's the second step. So the question is, why do we have to put effort to reveal the actual soul? Maybe after we took out all the body things, it's just there and it's perfect. It's revealed. So let me ask you a question. Wisdom, intelligence of a person. Are you born with it or do you gain it? Both, definitely. Okay, so you definitely are born with a certain amount, but then the more you learn and the more you work it, the more it can come and be expressed. Like if you're just born with it and you do nothing with it, you don't see that this person is a smart person. You need to work it to reveal it. Okay, you need to put effort. And the amount of effort the person puts depends on the amount of wisdom Hashem gave him when he was born. A person that some people can have it very easy and they have to learn a little bit, a few minutes, and they get it. Some people have to put in much more effort until they get it, until they get there. With the same, the end result can be the same, but one can put much more effort and one can put very little effort. Okay, and it's the same thing with studying Torah. Okay, you can learn. Some people can learn Torah very easily. Okay, And some people, they have to put in a lot of effort, okay? But the idea, one second. Okay, anyways, it's the same. I want to share a story. I wasn't sure where to put it, but I'll put it in a second. So it's the same thing also with all our talents, everything that we have. You can be born with it, but you still have to invest to develop it and to make it revealed. Okay, so you can have this beautiful soul, you cleaned it, but if you don't work it and make it shine, it won't shine. It won't be revealed and it won't be expressed. You need to work it. You need to put effort into it so that it's expressed, just like the wisdom. There, but we need to see that the story I'm going to share is that it's not enough. Like things don't come, like especially with godliness, it doesn't come automatically. You always have to put in effort. There was a grandfather that came with his grandchild to the Tzemach Tzedek, which is the third Chabad Rebbe, and he asked for a blessing that his grandson should get fear of God in an easy way. Like it should come easy for him. It shouldn't be a big struggle for him. And the third Chabad Rebbe tells him it's already 50 years that the Alter Rebbe, the one that wrote the Tanya, which is the first Chabad Rebbe, and me, we're working on everybody. We're making it that it should not come easy, that it should be with effort. We need to put in effort. We're trying to teach everybody that it's all about the effort. And now you're coming and you're telling me that you want your grandson to have it come easily. So it is all about the effort. The effort also, when you put in effort, it stays and it becomes a part of you. When it comes easy on a platter of gold, you don't even care about it. Like imagine if you win the lottery versus if you worked for your money, the same idea. So the effort is super important. And it's the same thing now with connecting and with the holiness, okay? To connect to holiness, to connect to God, we need effort from our soul. We need effort. It's not enough to just take away the body, but now we need to put in effort in our soul to be able to be expressed and to shine. And it doesn't come automatically, okay? It starts off in our minds, that we need to understand the greatness of God, understand it, and understanding and learning and learning and learning. At the end, it becomes a part of it until it generates the emotions, okay? By the way, part of the Tanya is the whole idea that everything starts in the mind versus everything starts in the heart. The mind controls the heart. So by thinking something, by understanding something, it can generate the emotions. But for that to happen, if you want emotions of love of God, of fear of God, you need to start in the mind. And for all that, you need a lot of investment. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come in a second. Okay. And not just that, we'll see. I'm just jumping because it's coming to my mind now. He's going to say that you need to put in a lot of time. He's going to say the concept of sha'ah gdola, a big hour. What does a big hour mean? Like you need to spend a big hour. So the idea, so another Rebbe explained what he meant by this big hour is the idea of like literally spending an hour a day, which becomes 7 hours a week, which becomes 30 hours a month, which becomes 365 hours a year, and you put that times 15 years, all these hours then at the end becomes a part of you. Like it's a constant, consistent and constant efforts and investments. And at the end, you get there. Like that's the work that's required. Okay. I don't want to scare you away, but I'm saying just to understand that that's why it's not like expressed by everybody. You need to put in efforts. And that's what we're talking about. Like on one hand, you need to take away the body. On the other hand, you have to also put in the effort. Also, it goes further than that. Another question, the next thing is that, sometimes, no, I'm jumping too fast, 1 second. Just like people are born with different talents or people are born with different levels of wisdom, also people are born with different levels of souls. Okay. Depending on some souls are connecting more easily to God and some souls are they need more effort to connect to God. Okay. And for that, the polishing will take more effort or less effort. Like it varies from person to person, just like everything varies, also the effort to polish this neshama. And you can have also people that are born with different personalities. You can have the person that his personality has more sensitivity to godliness and one that's like more closed to godliness and doesn't let it in as much. Like that that has more ego, okay? And how come some people are born with more and some people are born with less? Because really, all of us have a different source, like all our neshama, each one of our neshama is rooted at a different source, okay? So we spoke about the 4 worlds, 4 levels. Okay, I'm just mentioning it for you. There's 4 worlds. We are in the lowest world and the higher world. So the fourth to the like the highest is where you're completely one with God. Like, so that's like a tzaddik. It's his ego is totally nullified. So some people, their neshama is rooted at the highest. So that person has a very easy time connecting with God. Then you have those 2 next worlds where they have much less of their ego, but they still have a little bit of a struggle, but whatever, so they're medium. But then you have people like us that are rooted at a very low, like our neshama is rooted at a very low level, which is our connection to God is very, very technical, and it's very hard to reach the emotions. Like we're at a little bit of a superficial level, but that's where our neshama is, and that's as much as Hashem expects from us. Hashem also doesn't have the same expectation from a tzaddik and from us, okay? Now the common denominator between all the neshamot, doesn't matter where they're rooted, is they all have the capacity to connect with Hashem. Some require more effort, some require less effort, but everybody can. Okay, it's just how much effort they're gonna need to reach there. Okay, but everybody can. And today we're learning the fact that we're able to generate emotions. We have the capacity inside of us. We can do it. Okay, and how? By contemplating, by meditating, by understanding, and by internalizing it. Then a person thinks about Hashem, and then he can start feeling awe of Hashem, fear of Hashem. Okay, some people need to think about it, and it comes easily in a few minutes, and some people need to invest so much more. Okay, but everybody can get there. Okay, so here we're going to see in Tanya how the Alter Rebbe explains this second part, this polishing part. And how we get there, and it depends on different types of people. Some people it goes quickly, some people they're on a lower level, so it takes them much longer, and they need to do it again and again and again, think about Hashem again and again, learn about Hashem again and again and again and again, and at the end he's going to get there. Okay, so let's open up where we left off. I will tell you where it is. And the second is the exertion of the soul. Okay, you see it in the middle of the next page, and the second is the exertion of the soul. So the second step is the exertion of, so it's the effort of the soul part. Okay, first we had the effort of the body, now we have the soul. To reveal the powers of the soul, that the service of exerting one's thought not be burdensome to it, to delve into and reflect upon the greatness of God for a long and uninterrupted period. For this measure of time necessary to immerse oneself in a godly concept in order to arouse love or fear of God is not the same for every soul. Some people require more time, others less. This is the naturally refined soul, which immediately upon considering the greatness of God, attains a fear and dread of him. So some people, they have it, naturally, it's easy for them. As it's written in Shulchan Aruch, when a man reflects that the great king, the supreme kings of kings, the Holy One, blessed be he, with whose glory the whole world is filled, stands over him and sees his action, he will immediately be overcome with fear. So when a person reflects, does all this work, he will get there. Okay? And there is a soul. Okay, so some people get there. Until now we spoke about the one that he thinks about it and it comes immediately. Then there's a soul that is of lowly nature, an origin coming from a lower gradation of the 10 sefirot of Asiya. Okay, it's like Asiya is our world, the lowest world, like where we are rooted. And it is unable to discover godliness by contemplation, except with difficulty and forceful insistence, especially if the soul is not only of lowly nature, but in addition it has been defiled by the sin of youth. For one sin interposed, as is written in Sefer, between God and the Jew, as is written in Sefer Chassidim. Continuing. Nevertheless, with difficulty and with forceful effort, when his thought greatly exerts itself with vigor and great toil and intense concentration, immersing itself in contemplation of the greatness of God for a long time, here you have the Sha'ah Gdolah, there will certainly come to him at least the lower level fear referred to above, enough to prevent him from doing something which is opposed to God's will. Okay, so we can reach something if we put in a lot of effort. Okay. So we spoke about the idea that every person is able to reveal the fear of God that he has within him with putting a lot of effort. Okay. And we'll see a verse that the Alter Rebbe is going to bring, how we'll see that basically it's a prophet that talks about the fact that when you look for the fear of God, it's like looking for a treasure that's deep into the ground, literally. So when you look for a treasure deep inside the ground, there's a very difference if you're doing it when you have a doubt whether it's there or whether you know for sure that it's there. If you're not sure it's there, your efforts are going to be limited. Like you're not going to put in all you've got, and your motivation is not going to be all the way there. And if you don't find it, you can give up at some point. Like, you know, you're not sure it's there, so at some point you're going to stop. But if you know for sure that it's there, your motivation is very high, and you're going to go on and be consistent, and you know you're going to get there, so you're going to continue till the end because you know it's there. Okay, and it's the same thing. We're being told today that we all for sure have this treasure inside of us. We have it for sure. By knowing that we for sure have it, we got it from Moshe Rabbeinu. Like we for sure have it. By knowing that for sure, and the fact that we are Jews that are Ma'aminim, Bnei Ma'aminim, we're believers, sons of believers. We believe it with a full like belief. Okay, when we come from such a place, we're not being cheap on how much effort we're going to put in. We're going to give it all we've got. We're going to try again and again and again. Okay, and we're going to continue with consistency, and we're going to be stubborn and go till the end until we find and until we reveal this treasure. Okay, now on one hand, so we know for sure it's there. On the other hand, this treasure is completely like if we sorry, let me ask you, let's go this way. If you know for sure that the treasure is there, why do you have to dig it? Why do you have to dig and dig and dig and dig? Okay, so is a diamond the same when it's in the ground and when it's out of the ground? It's in the ground, you don't gain anything from it, like you can't do anything with it. But if it's out of the ground, you can enjoy it, you can sell it, you can get very far. Okay, so it's the same, like, you know, the same thing. If something is revealed, you can actually get benefit from it, you can enjoy it. Okay, so we need to get it out of out of the ground. That's why we need to dig deep inside. Okay, and the digging is literally our intellectual contemplation, thinking about it, putting a lot of effort in it. We're going to do it. And then when we're going to put in all this effort of contemplating about the greatness of God and putting it all we've got, it's going to for sure awaken at some point. It's going to awaken our emotion of fear of God. For sure. We'll get there. We know it's there, and we know how we're going to get there, and we can get there. So in this last part that we're going to read, the Alter Rebbe says that every Jew has this fear of God inside of him, okay? And it's there, and it's kind of above time, which doesn't change, you know, whether we do these actions or not. It's there. But so then he's going to ask, why do we still have to dig inside it? Why do we have to dig to reveal it? But he says, because we want to take it from like above time to here. We want to actually have it available inside of our hands and use it. Okay, we want to behave now with fear of God. We want to have this emotion now so that we can serve God with these emotions. We want it available. We don't want it like, you know, deep inside. And that's why we need to put in the effort and put in the intellectual contemplation. We need to put all this effort, and then it's going to come out in a very revealed way. So let's pick up where we left off. And as the rabbis of blessed memory, at the bottom, you see it? And as the rabbis of blessed memory have said, if a man says, I have labored and I have found, believe him. It is also written with regard to the success one achieves when he labors to attain the fear of God. If you seek it like money and search for it as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of God. So he's comparing it to looking for a treasure. This means in the manner of a person seeking a hidden treasure buried in the depth of the earth, for which he digs with tireless toils, for he knows that it is surely buried there. So must one dwell with unflagging energy in order to reveal the treasure of the fear of heaven, which lies buried and concealed in the understanding of the heart of every Jewish individual. This understanding of the heart being of a quality and level transcending the limitation of time. And this is the natural hidden fear referred to above. However, in order that it should be translated into action in the sense of fear of sin, so that one will turn away from evil in deed, word, and thought, one needs to bring it to light from the hidden depth of the understanding of the heart, where it transcends time to a place and to place it within the realm of actual thought that is in the brain. Like you have to take it from there to here. This means how do you do it? Immersing his thought in it for a lengthy period of time until its effect will emerge from the potential into the actual, so that it affects the soul and body of man. One more paragraph. So that he will turn away from evil and do good in thought, speech, and action because of God, who looks and sees, hears and listens, perceives all his deeds and searches his kidneys and his heart. That's what we're going to talk about next week, how Hashem really sees everything we do and cares about everything we do. But this is it for today. I'm just going to share a story, summarize, and have our takeaway lesson. So first of all, there was a chassid that came to the sixth Chabad Rebbe, the Rayat, the previous Rebbe, and he says, I have nobody to learn with. So the Rebbe says, when you dig inside the ground, you're meant to find water. And if you don't find, you need to dig even deeper, and then you find. So when you dig into every Jew deeper, you can find the good in him. And we know this, and we also, he also told him, he answered a story. When he answered to him, he told him a story that he heard from his rabbi, that there were students of the Baal Shem Tov that talked between them, and they said, the Baal Shem Tov, he talks very high stuff, and it's not for simple people, and it's only for people on a very high level. And the Baal Shem Tov walks in, and he hears that, and he says, I like even every Jew, every simple Jew. I like every Jew, and the simple Jew is an even greater treasure. Is an even bigger treasure. So, and that's what it is. Okay, I'll share with you soon the perfect story of the Rebbe about this. But first, I want to summarize everything what we learned today. We learned that every Jew has inside of him, or is, a diamond, and inside of us, we all have this capacity of having awe of God, like one of the two emotions that we need. And the problem is that the body is covering it up. The body is covering the soul. That's why we need to do double efforts. Number one, we need to take away whatever the body's, the disturbances of the body disturbances, the body taking it out of the way. So that means that we shouldn't dwell or indulge too much in the pleasures of the body. And secondly, we should put efforts and try and contemplate on the greatness of God. By putting in that effort, we're going to reveal the soul, reveal the fear of God, and it will become revealed once we put in the effort, because it's not enough to just unveil by removing the dirt, but you also need to polish it. You know the story, for sure. I mean, I'm sure many of you have heard it, of a woman. She was an elderly woman, and she stood a very long time to get $1 from the Rebbe. There was a long line, and she was waiting a very long line, and she was getting very tired by the end of the line. And when she came to the Rebbe was also not so young, and she saw that his face is lit up, after hours and hours of giving dollars after dollars. And she couldn't hold herself from asking this question. It says, Rebbe, how do you not get tired when you see thousands of people one after the other? Like, how do you not get tired for so many hours and stand on your feet? And the Rebbe said, when you count diamonds, you don't get tired. So the Rebbe looked at every Jew as a diamond. And it's not just a nice thing, but this is a way of life. This is the example the Rebbe gave us. Like, we should look at every Jew with all this potential, with like a diamond. And the rabbi cared about Jews everywhere in the world, all types of Jews. He sent shluchim everywhere, to every corner, no matter, you know, how far from Judaism they are, to reach to every single diamond. Like, because it's like, go dig, you know, there's diamonds everywhere. And why, like, that's why the rabbi invested so much, because he knew that there's diamonds everywhere. Okay, so everything starts, even in us, with the belief that every Jew and all of us have our diamond. Like that, it all starts there. And knowing that we all have deep inside of us, we have the belief in Hashem, we have within of us the fear of God, we all have it inside. Sometimes you need to dig and, like, you know, to get it. But we know with perfect certainty that everybody has it, that we all have it, we know it. Sometimes you need to dig and it's more work, but we all have it. But because we know for sure we have it, we're going to be stubborn and we're going to go all the way to the end and we're going to put in all the effort. So what we're learning today is that we need to first of all believe in the treasure that is inside of ourselves, and believe in the treasure that's inside of people around us, in all the Jews around us. Everybody is a treasure. And once we believe in it, we're going to put in the efforts in ourselves and in others to reach further into their fear of God, into their connection with Hashem, and it will, God willing, be revealed by each of us and by all the people that we have an influence on. So we learned, so next week, basically we learned that the person needs to think about the fact that Hashem is looking at him, not just looking at him, but scrutinizing him, like looking at him Hashem looks at every single person very, very carefully. So we're going to see, how does Hashem look at me at every single moment? And how does that happen if Hashem doesn't have ears and eyes? But, and how and what does he use to do it without ears and eyes? But how does really Hashem look at each of us? Like, it's a very foundational, like that each of us matters and each of us, Hashem cares about every single human. Like, we're really all a chain reaction to reach the full picture of the world, becoming a dwelling place for Hashem.